All right, it is 11 a.m. Mountain Time here in sunny Denver. My name is Josh Hendrickson, and I am the Certification Manager here at the American Cheese Society. Thanks so much for joining me today for the ACS Taste Test Informational Webinar. As you can see, the date on the screen is incorrect. We had to reschedule from last week due to some technical difficulties we had in the office, but those are all resolved now, and I'm happy to give you some information about upcoming taste test coming in Richmond, Virginia this July. So thanks for joining me. This presentation should take about 1 hour or less, depending upon how many questions that we have. And it will be available on our website within the next 2 weeks. And anyone registered for the webinar will receive an email with the link to the recording when it's available. So the things that we're going to cover today are the preparations that you need to make as prior to exam day. We'll talk about how the exam day flow will work, what to expect, how to check in, what the actual exam will constitute, and the post-exam celebration hosted by Emmy Roth. We'll talk briefly about how to prepare for this exam, then what to expect after the exam is over as you work your way towards becoming a certified cheese sensory evaluator. And at the end, we will answer any outstanding questions that we have. Any questions that we don't have an opportunity to answer, I'll be happy to follow up with an email after the presentation. So prior to exam day, it's very important that everyone pay close attention to any emails that come from me or from the American Cheese Society. Remember, any emails from ACS will begin with ACS in the subject line. So you want to make sure that you check your spam and your junk mail folders. We are not responsible for any emails that might happen to go astray, and you are responsible for making sure that you read the emails that do come from us. Do make sure that you have put our email addresses and our domain on your safe senders list to avoid any complications that you might have in the future about emails going into junk email folders. In addition to paying a close attention to those emails, prior to exam day, you will need to pay your exam fee. If you're unsure whether or not you have paid for the exam, please reach out, send me an email, or give us a call here at the office. Our contact information will be at the end of the presentation. Payment is due for your exam sitting no later than June 1st. So to ensure that you do have that spot reserved, make sure that you go online to your American Cheese Society account and purchase that through our online store. In addition, as an exam taker, you do receive a $100 discount on your full conference registration. After you have made that purchase, it'll come in your receipt. So that's a really great opportunity to take advantage of a discounted conference registration so you can join us at the ACS conference. Make sure as well that you do plan travel to Richmond. You'll want to make sure that you get your flights if you're going to be taking a hotel stay if you have not done already. And as I mentioned earlier, please do consider attending the ACS conference. Additionally, one very important part of the taste exam is that we will need for you to declare any known allergens. Within the next coming weeks, I'll send out an email with some additional details about the exam day. Make sure that you get that email because I will be asking if there are any known allergens for that. So we will need a response back to that, yes or no, so that we can plan accordingly and make sure that we don't have any issues when it comes to exam day. On exam day itself, we'll be checking in at the Richmond Convention Center. The rooms for this exam are still being announced. Once those are confirmed, I will send out an email to all of the attendees that will be taking the exam so you know exactly where to go in the Richmond Convention Center. When you arrive, it's very important that we follow the rules and the times listed. There are no exceptions to this. You will need to bring a government or employee-issued photo ID. Please make sure that the name on your photo ID matches the name that you applied for the exam for and that is in our system. We need to make sure that the person who is taking the exam is the person who actually applied and will receive that certification. At 1 p.m., we will begin checking in for the exam. The coat and bag room check-in will be open beginning at 11:30 a.m. through 1 p.m. At 1 p.m., the exam room opens. You'll be directed to your seats at that point. The preparation in which we go over how to fill out the forms for the exam, as well as any other important information, begins promptly at 1:15, and then the exam will begin at 1:30. Since between our two certification exams, we have well over 200 people taking the exam, it's very important that you show up on time and also that you check your bags early. You will need to have a wristband put on when you check in, fill out your agreement form, check your bags. Once you arrive into the room, once it opens at 1 p.m., you will have an exam packet and assigned to seating at your table. And you want to make sure that you're all calmed down and ready to go before 1:15 when we begin the instructions. In the exam room, as I mentioned, there will be assigned seating. You will have your own seat with your own area, and nothing but you is allowed into the room except for a empty water bottle. You cannot bring your cell phone, any kind of fitness trackers or Apple Watches, no notes, nothing additional aside from you and just that water bottle. We are trying to become more sustainable. Previously, we had offered bottles of water, but instead this year we are going to have a water canteen so that you can fill your own water bottles and reduce waste from the exam. So in the exam room, we will provide pencils, score sheets for you to fill out. These are the Scantron score sheets like many of you may have used previously in school. Water, knives for you to cut the cheeses with once you have your slices. Also cups in case you did not bring a water bottle. Plates, spit buckets, and a variety of palate cleansers to help you in your tasting assignments. It's important to remember when you take the exam to go at your own pace. We've had people that complete the exam in under an hour, and others will take the full 3 hours. Really, it's up to you to do what's right for you in this. When you're finished with the exam, you can leave the room after you check out, and you can also go to the restroom at any point, but you would be escorted, and only one male or female is escorted at any time. The restrooms are reserved only for exam takers and are checked as soon as the exam starts to prevent any kind of transference of information. And as I mentioned, we'll also have water and tissues within the room for you to access. The exam itself, what to expect. So you have 3 hours total in order to complete the following tasks. The largest part of the assessment is the cheese assessment and evaluation. Each candidate will be provided with up to 12 unidentified cheeses. For each of those cheeses, you'll be expected to assess and evaluate the positive and negative attributes in the context of that particular cheese's style, including how it looks, how it tastes, the texture, the feel to it, and the smell of that cheese as well. In addition, you will have single attribute identification. What that means is that each candidate will be provided with 10 different prepared solutions. which each provides a unique aroma or taste that's commonly found in cheese. The candidates would be expected to identify what those aromas or tastes are based upon that prepared solution. There is no essays, no typing required. There's no math required for this exam. It's all going to be based upon your sensory evaluation of the cheeses that are there. So how do you go about preparing for this test? The best way is to familiarize yourself with the score sheets that we have posted online in our exam preparation guide. Under the ACS website, when you go to the taste exam, you'll see that last year's score sheets are posted. We do have new score sheets coming out this year, but they are essentially the same, just some minor edits. Those will be coming out and posted onto the website soon. You'll use those score sheets in reference to the ACS lexicon and glossary. If you're a CCP, you're probably already familiar with the lexicon and glossary, and it can be found easily on our website. And it provides you with terminology that is commonly used throughout all of our score sheets. So you'll need to make sure that you're familiar with the terms that are on those score sheets and then how to evaluate those. Then the best way to prepare for this exam is to utilize those score sheets and the lexicon and glossary while actively tasting and evaluating cheeses yourself. So in the next several months as you prepare for the exam, take those score sheets, familiarize yourself with the lexicon and glossary, and then evaluate the cheeses that you test. This should generally be done in groups or with others if possible. As you are going to get different information from different people, and there is some subjectivity towards sensory evaluation. So being able to compare and discuss what you're tasting and experiencing from cheese will help you to prepare for this exam. So an example of the score sheets. This one provides for Category A of fresh, unripened cheeses. And this is just the appearance section of that score sheet. So for the appearance of the cheese provided, of a fresh, unripened cheese, you would want to identify whether the color, the crooked, the dull, whether there's excess of rind, and then evaluate whether you felt that was a slight, definite, or pronounced appearance to that cheese. Not all of the categories and not all of the attributes will be appropriate for every cheese. If there is no crooked appearance to the cheese, then you would not mark either slight, definite, or pronounced. You would simply leave that blank. So for example, this ties into the lexicon and glossary. If you look at this chart and you see that the appearance of this cheese lists seamy, if you're not sure what seamy means, then you would not be able to evaluate whether or not that cheese was seamy. So you'll want to make sure that you look into the lexicon and glossary, find how the American Cheese Society defines seamy, and in this case, it's the presence of white thread-like lines that form between curds in a milled curd cheese, and then identify whether or not that is a slight, definite, or pronounced seamy appearance. Another example would be under flavor. Again, it's extremely important that when you're identifying and tasting cheeses that you're using the lexicon and glossary to make sure that you understand the terms that are presented and that we are all using those terms consistently. So for example, looking at this, we have the term lipase. Is that flavor of that cheese slight, definite, or pronounced, or non-existent for lipase? Looking into our lexicon and glossary, we see that lipase is rancid listed, so we'd go to see rancid in our lexicon and glossary, which is defined as an enzymatic hydrolysis of fat yields aromatic-free fatty acids like butyric, caproic, caprylic, and capric acids, and it tends to provide a characteristic flavor to the following cheese styles. I'm sure you've tasted in like an Asiago, a Feta, or Romano. So although that's expected to a certain degree in some cheeses, it could be out of balance or harsh, and it's not appropriate in most cheeses. So depending upon the cheese that you tasted, was that a rancid taste that was slight, definite, or pronounced? So you'll see how both the score sheets and the lexicon and glossary tie together to make sure that we're using similar terms to describe the texture, the taste, the aroma, and the appearance of cheese, and then evaluate whether or not those attributes are slight, definite, or pronounced. So again, on exam day, check-in starts for the exam right at noon. Make sure that you bring your government photo ID or employer-issued a photo ID. You'll receive a wristband and sign an agreement form, and all of your personal items will need to be checked at the bag check. At 1 p.m., our exam room opens, and at 1:15, the exam prep begins, where I will cover the different expectations for the exam, make sure everyone understands the rules and how to fill out their forms. No one is admitted after 1:15. At 1:30 promptly, the exam begins, and you'll have 3 hours to complete the exam. Again, if you finish early, you're welcome to check out and leave early as well. Go at your own pace. And then at 4:30, the exam will end. After the exam, you are invited to join us for a celebration just down the hall with Emmy Roth USA, where they have provided a reception for all ACS certified cheese professionals as well as certified cheese sensory evaluators from last year, and anyone who took either of the certification exams, the CCP exams, and the taste test. So it's an opportunity for you to let your hair down, take a few deep breaths, and celebrate because you've just challenged yourself to take an extremely difficult exam, and Emmy Roth wants to celebrate with you, as well as those who have passed the exams in previous years. And at the party, you can get a drink, eat some cheese. Of course, that's what we're all here for, is the cheese. Talk and network with other exam takers. Chat with previous CCPs who can share, and CCSEs who can share how the whole exam process changed their lives and changed how they do business. The party starts a little bit before the exam ends. It starts at 4 o'clock as the CCP exam gets out at that point, and it lasts until 5:30. And then, of course, don't forget to get your bags from the baggage room prior to attending the party. It's right along the way, so it'll be easy for you to just stop by, grab your bags, and head right into the reception. After exam day, the certified cheese sensory evaluators will be announced at the end of August. The reason why it takes us so long to award the certifications is that we're going to analyze every attribute in the aggregate and develop a passing score. There's not just a straight or established percentage that you achieve for passing. Rather, all of the cheeses, the attributes that are there are compared against the norming team for each question, and then they're reviewed and psychometrically reviewed by a consultant in order to maintain the integrity of the exam. So there's no straight passing score. It takes us a while in order to produce who actually passed and who did not at that point. So by the end of August, we'll be able to announce the passing, who actually passed and achieved that certification. Those that do achieve the certification become an ACS certified cheese sensory evaluator. I will send you a lapel pin, a patch for your jacket, as well as a certificate. You'll also get specifications for how to use that logo on your business cards, on stationery, and your email signature. You'll be also included in our database of certified cheese professionals and certified cheese sensory evaluators that we keep on our website, which is important as many different employers will go to search there to try to find their next employee to move into a position. It's also very important that you make sure that your profile on the ACS website is up to date and current at all times. In order for me to send you out your lapel pin, your patch for your jacket, or to send you important information and opportunities that are available for our certified professionals, make sure that all of your email addresses, that you have a secondary email address, and that we're able to get a hold of you and maintain contact. In addition, those that are achieve the Certified Cheese Sensory Evaluator designation will receive promotion via press releases from ACS, and we also will have ads in magazines to help let everyone know the huge accomplishment that you've attained. So the American Cheese Society taste test to attain the Certified Cheese Sensory Evaluator designation will be held July 31st in Richmond, Virginia this year. Next year's exam will be held in Portland in 2020. If you find that you are not prepared for this exam and you would like to defer until the next year, that is an opportunity for you once you've been accepted or even after you've secured your seat. Deferrals are accepted up through June 1st, so you'll need to make that decision soon if that's something that you feel you're going to do. after June 1st, there is a fee involved with deferring to the next year. So let us know and keep in contact if there's any kind of information that you need or if you're not sure about whether or not you're ready for the exam. At this point, I'd like to go ahead and open it up for questions. To access the control panel and the question box, just go ahead and click on the red arrow within the small gray box located in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. It'll expand your control panel, and here you can find the question box. Simply type your question in the box, click send, and your question will be answered at the end of the presentation. And then, as I mentioned earlier, any unanswered questions will receive a follow-up email after the presentation. So, do we have any questions? All right, it looks like we don't really have any questions at this time. So I will go ahead and wrap up this webinar for today. It will be posted under our website within the next 2 weeks. And as always, if you would like to ask me a question directly, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to email us at info@cheesesociety.org or give us a call at 720-328-2788. Thanks so much for all of your attention today, and good luck on preparing for the exam. I will see you in Richmond on July 31st.